Hello, YouTube and Facebook. Happy New Year's Eve. I'm here at the City Fam offices, just getting ready to head out actually and head to the hotel. I'm gonna stop by my house and pick up my tux. I'm gonna make the kava and then I'm gonna head to the hotel and I'm gonna check in and relax a little bit, or at least try to, before the event starts tonight. So very exciting. This is the biggest party of the year. Charm City Countdown. I really love it. I look forward to it for a lot of reasons. Mostly just because it really gets everybody together. It offers something for everyone because, you know, there's just like live music and then there's DJs, there's karaoke, there's all kinds of stuff. So you get like the best mix of people. Like I get people like my mom and and I get people from the church come, and I'll get my old club friends come, and it's just a great mix. And you know, there's something nice about ringing in New Year's with the people that you care the most about. So that's why I love it. And I really also like it for City Fam for a few reasons, and I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. It's because you know, for me, it's not just a party. It's a way. When I originally started, you know, including City Fam into the promotion, it was because I wanted City Fam to remain edgy and fun. I didn't ever want to be put inside of a box, you know, meaning like I know we were going to go out, we were doing a lot of volunteering in the community, and it would have been very easy to say, oh, those are a bunch of do-gooders and they're just a bunch of, you know, dorks or whatever. You know, like I want it to be the fun group. And the reason being is because I want to meet the people where they are. And a lot of times when you're like a person that's just turning up and you're, you know, like you're all about fun and YOLO and all that, like you're usually not necessarily making the best decisions. So I wanted those people to be attracted to us because I was like, they're the ones that need the help the most. So let's be the fun group, even though we're really about doing the right thing and you know, walking that narrow path, as I like to say. So for me, it was a way to brand us and to remain edgy and relevant. You know what I mean? And really, the dream is for us to have, you know, New Year's Eve events, all-inclusive New Year's Eve parties like this in every market that City Fam is in eventually. And actually, next year will be the first time that we're gonna have a non-Baltimore New Year's Eve party in Houston. We've already bought the URL, H-Town Countdown, and I'm pretty excited about that because you know, I want to see this thing spread, and you know, I think it just kind of changes, agitates culture a little bit when you can be that out there and you can be that relevant to throw big events like this. And on this, at the same time, you're really encouraging people to make really good decisions, and you know, you have values. You know, like we're a social group with values, and I really don't know that there's anyone else out there like that. So anyway, that's what I'm excited about, and what we're obviously gearing up for. Probably have probably about 900 people there tonight. Not our biggest year, but still a great party, a lot of people. And it's, you know, when there's only 900 or 1,000 people, it's actually a better party for the guests because you know, it's easy to get to the food stations and the bars and everything else. So the other reason I like Charm City Countdown is we're able to promote our service event, which, you know, follows MLK, always follows New Year's Eve. So we kind of piggyback MLK onto New Year's Eve, and we always get a bigger turnout for that service event. So the dream is you know, one day we're out and we're doing these huge New Year's Eve parties, but we have, you know, whole cities out volunteering together at our service events. And you know, the after party of the volunteer events are so big that they'll have to be held in stadiums. Like that's my dream, you know. And I think, because I just think about the massive impact that something like that would have on a city, because when you get people serving together, serving changes you. It makes you want to not be part of the problem anymore, because you like the being part of a solution feels good. So when you get people into volunteering, you make it really easy for them to do it. It not only does it change the person, but then it helps them form connections with the people that they volunteer alongside. So now they have community, and that is important as they start, you know, making right decisions, to have that supportive group to encourage them and support them, and someone that they would let down if they messed up and all those things. So you hear me talk about it a lot. So that is the other reason I like New Year's Eve because we kind of piggyback our service event with it. So anyway, let's change subjects. So Truth About Sex tour is coming up. You've probably heard me mention it several times, and just to talk about that a little bit. I leave in mid-February for the United Kingdom. We're gonna start off in London the week of, I think the following week, February 16th is when I leave, that week. So the following weekend is when our first event will be, and we have dates in London, Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh, and Nottingham. So if you're in any of those places or close by any of those places, or if you know someone that's close by any of those places, send them out or send them my information. You know, the events are gonna be awesome. They're gonna be enlightening. And the purpose of it is for us to help connect like-minded people so that they can form groups, small groups that could potentially become city fams one day, but really will give them the support they need as they make this journey if they decide to do it, because you need that support. You need those friends if you're gonna do this. So really pumped about it. You know, I think it's gonna be awesome. You know, like I'm not sure. It's a 12-week tour, so that I'm a little like, wow, that's a long time to be on the road. You know. But I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited about the team that we got. We have a great group of people that are organizing everything and working behind the scenes. So I think it's going to be cool. You know, I think that, like for me, being able to travel with purpose is like my sweet spot. You know, like I don't know that there's anything better than that. To be able to travel and see the world, but there be a purpose behind it. And this is a heavy, purposeful trip. So I think it's gonna be awesome, but I've never been away from home that long, you know, for 3 months. So I don't really know what to expect. You know, we're gonna be staying in like guest houses mostly, but I expect it to be awesome, and I expect unexpected things to happen along the way, and we'll see. So that's the plan. It's gonna be 3 months, touring around the United Kingdom. I'm gonna come back to Baltimore. I'll probably be here for about 2 months, and then we plan to go back out, and we want to do Canada, the United States, and possibly Australia. That's what we're thinking. During that time, next year, we're going to be translating the book into other languages, and hopefully in 2021, we'll be making trips to lots of different countries where the book is translated into. So that's the goal. So if you live in any of those places that I just mentioned, or if you live in any of other of those places and you're like, hey, I happen to speak Swahili or whatever, reach out to me, because maybe we could work together and you could have us translate the book, and then we can come to your country and do a tour. So that's kind of the plans right now. But I have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to look forward to in 2020, a lot to be excited about. Definitely not an easy road to get here. It's been super challenging, especially in 2019, probably the hardest year of my life, just because, you know, didn't see any of this earlier in the year. It wasn't happening, you know, like had given it everything I had and wasn't seeing the breakthrough coming, and was very discouraged, and it would have been really easy to quit. And I was super depressed, and but yeah, I ate a lot of shit. You know, even before that, tons, you know, over the last 19 years, you know, a lot of vacations that my friends were going on while I'm staying at home because I didn't have money. A lot of like holes in my clothes and putting, you know, there was a couple times where I had to put pennies and nickels in my gas tank because I'd already used all the dimes and the quarters. Like it was rough for a while. And, you know, obviously lots of lonely nights, lots of going home, lots of staying in by yourself every weekend, because you're just, you know, believing that if you continue to do the right thing, that sooner or later there's going to be a breakthrough. Not to say that that's why I was doing it, because there was a part of me that just wanted to be obedient, obviously, but there was also part of me that really, you know, felt the call of God on my life, and I really wanted to see what it was about. You know, like what are you going to do? Like I'm willing to be obedient and stay put, but what, you know, how are you going to use me? And so, you know, for anyone out there, if you're in that place, you know, just know that there's a reason behind it. You know, that God always, he orchestrated for me. Like I'll give you an example. So like when I wrote the book, you know, he removed everything, every obstacle from like that would have prevented me from doing it. He gave me a couple social media clients, like, so I had a little bit of income, and then he gave me somebody that was managing those clients, but I did just enough. He gave me just enough money to basically pay them and pay my bills, and that was it. So, like, my wingman, Billy Lofton, had gotten married, had met, or at least he was dating Ariana at the time. So I didn't really have him to hang out with. So like my friend group shrunk. I didn't have any money. I had somebody handling my clients. I like didn't have any distractions. And I was like, what else am I gonna do? I might as well write the book. There's nothing else to do. Like he had put me in this little like controlled, he controlled my environment so much that it was like the perfect scenario for me to write the book. Because I was like, well, if I'm ever gonna do it, I might as well do it now. And that's exactly what I did. Even now where he's got me, I'm working on some things related to the tour. I'm gonna be starting a podcast next year. And I'm working on a funnel for the book, which is gonna kind of fuel the tour. So he's really like giving me these blueprints, as is the way I feel. It feels like he's giving me the blueprints to build some incredible machine that is gonna produce massive changes in people's lives. I can see it. It's like, it's bigger and better than I even thought it was. But he's also put me in this spot where it's like, I don't really have anything to do besides build the thing that he told me to build. There's no other distractions. There's no girl. There's really not a whole lot of, sorry about that. So he kind of removed the distractions from my life, and and that's just kind of the way he works. Whereas if you cooperate with him, sometimes that feels like punishment almost. But I know it's not punishment. I know he's wanting to give me everything that I want most, everything that I've prayed for. He's just controlled the environment so much that makes it possible for me to do the things that I need to do in order to have them. So anyway, what else? I leave for Houston next year, January 12th. I'm going there for about 12 days. I'm actually going to scout out a venue for the New Year's Eve party down there. And then I'm going to work on a strategy with Nicole Richard, who's our new executive director. I'm going to be working on a strategy with her, like basically a 2-year plan for CityFam. Like, hey, this is where we'd like to be in the next 2 years, so we can start working backward and start thinking about things that we, maybe need to be thinking about right now. We haven't actually done that. So excited to do that with her, and her father is actually going to help us, who's a very smart and wealthy businessman. So that is coming up. And then I go to Columbus, Ohio on the weekend of February 7th. I'll be there for that weekend because there's a group that's meeting out there. Shout out to Angel Peterson, you are killing it, girl. And then I'll be in Houston January 12th through the 23rd or 24th, I think. So go to Columbus on the weekend of February 7th to kind of energize that group, do a couple talks out there, and then leave for the UK on February 4th, the week of February 16th. So I was thinking about it during Christmas, actually Christmas morning. I was sitting there thinking to myself, like Christmas is a hard time to be single, the holidays in general. And I was just kind of thinking about everything, and I felt a little like, 8th Christmas in a row alone, and I was a little like, I guess sad, for lack of a better word. But I thought, like, I'm so mission-minded. I've been so focused on the mission that I'm like, I haven't thought a whole lot about what's going to make me happy, And I sat there that morning for the first time, and I was like, well, I'm going to go on this 3-month tour. I'm going to come back. I'm like, I'm only going to come back for 2 months. Really, no point in moving out of the place that I live now. I don't have my own place. I live in a room with a guy I went to high school with. Thank you, Craig Belinky, for letting me stay at your house. But it wouldn't be any point in moving out of that place. When I come back, because I'm only going to be home for 2 months, and I leave for another 3 months. And I was just thinking about all this, and I'm like, like, you really can't have a relationship when you're traveling 6 months out of the next 8 months, and no point in having a place. And I think those are kind of two of the things that would really, I don't know, just would make me feel a little happier, like make me feel a little bit more like, all this work, that all this work is for something besides, just kingdom purposes. So, I was thinking about everything, and I'm like, well, what would be nice is if after the second 3-month tour, if I got back in the fall of 2020, like let's say October, that we would open home. That's the dream, is to open home in fall of 2020, and then get my own place. And then maybe, just maybe, God will send me the girl that I'm going to date, or send me the girl to date that I'm going to marry, should I say. I'm like, that would be really nice, and that's about as far as much of a plan as I have right now. I haven't thought a whole lot about it. In actuality, I've kind of given up all ideas of what my life should turn out like. Like, to me, I'm so surrendered right now to God's will that I hadn't thought a lot about it. But that was like the first morning that I really gave it some thought. And I was like, So hopefully that's what happens. Because, going back to home, you watch some of my videos that I made before, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, like, home is going to change the game. Not just in Baltimore, not just for City Fam. It's going to change the game of people, how people get their shit together, and how it's going to just change the culture a little bit, because it's going to be a bar that people could get sober, and if they wanted to, or at least not get out of being a drunk, where they could find healthy community. And yeah, again, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of explaining it, because I've talked about it so much. But the vision that God gave me 16 years ago, he showed me a specific building in Baltimore. He said, one day you're going to be in this building doing something outside the box, and people are going to come from all over the world to see it. And I didn't really know what it meant back then, but now I understand it. So here I am, I'm starting this tour. I'm going to be speaking all over the world. And I'm thinking, if I'm speaking in February, March, April, May, those people, those small groups that start, eventually some of them are going to want to become City Fams, and they're going to want to come to Baltimore to see the model in action. And I'm thinking, in my mind, like, home has to open next year. It has to open by fall of 2020, because those people are going to, yes, they could come here, they could see City Fam, they could attend some events, but when they see home, when they see a brick and mortar place like this, where they're gonna see it and go, holy shit, like, I need one of these where I live. And we're gonna say, great, go back to your city and do the work to build the group so that you can open one, and it will give them the fuel and the motivation that they need to go back and do it, I believe. So I know that, home is a big project. It's a big undertaking. It's not something I would ever try to do on my own. I don't, there's so many pieces of my personality and my experiences that are missing to do something like that successfully. So I only want it to happen if God is in it. I don't want to be ahead of him. I don't want to be behind him. He's got to be in his timing. And I know that, like, there's just other obstacles like money and everything else. So, it's going to take a miracle for us to get it. But I believe that miracle has to happen next year, because I don't see how it could be any longer with these groups now getting ready to start in February, March, April, May. So that's what I'm believing for. So we'll see, I think, and for me personally, again, home opening, getting my own place again, potentially having a girlfriend that I'm moving toward marriage with. To me, that is my promised land. That would be, to me, I would be living the dream completely at that point. And, so we'll see how it works out. Then again, that might not be the plan. Lori, my pastor's wife, she came up to me at church on Sunday and said, I got a word for you from God. And she said, basically that this traveling that you're doing is not going to be a short-lived thing or a one-time thing. She's like, this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. She said you have a John the Baptist spirit, which is basically like preparing the way for the return of the Lord, which I've kind of sensed on myself before. Because honestly, and I don't talk about it probably as much as I should, but I am 100% sure that Jesus is coming back in my lifetime, the second coming. That's what motivates me. That's why I have such a sense of urgency. about the things that I do. And that he's sending me out to prepare the way for his return. Because right now, in general, not everybody, but in general, the church is it's just bad shape. There's just, most people, even if they go, they're very lukewarm, and not to say that I'm anything special, but, one of the hardest things to conquer, at least for men, is you're getting obedient with your sex life. That's very, very hard for men. Even church guys, very few of them are on this path, but that's what God wants. That's what he's called us to. And, if he's sending me out to help wake people up, to help them get right in that area of their life so that they can be connected with God on a deeper level, to prepare for his return so they don't miss it, because there is going to be a strong delusion, as 2 Thessalonians said, and a lot of so-called Christians are going to fade. They're going to fade away. They said there's going to be an apostasy, and a lot of people are going to take that mark. So if I'm able to share this important message and help people avoid that, then by all means, that's what I want to do. So actually, while I say that, I was thinking about something. Two things. One, I would love for you to go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Rob B. Kowalski, and there's a new feature that allows you to invite all of your friends to like the page with the touch of a button. I would really appreciate if you would do that for me, because everything, from the book to the tour to City Fam, it's all very purposeful. It's very important. I want as many people as possible to hear it and know about it, so that they can get involved. I don't have a budget really for Facebook ads, so everything I do is just kind of organic and grassroots. So if you could go to that page and invite your friends to like the page, I would greatly appreciate it. And I also appreciate if you would do the same thing for the City Fam page, and that's facebook.com/the City Fam. That would definitely help us get the word out. I would greatly appreciate that. So anyway, that's it. I'm not going to talk too much more. Just wanted to wish you all a happy new year. I want to say thank you to everyone that supported me or City Fam in any way over the last year, even if it was just praying for us or coming to a volunteer event, or, we have tons of people that serve on committees. We have people that, attend our events regularly. Just want to say thank you to all of you, because we wouldn't be here without you guys. So hopefully next year, the next decade actually, is the greatest of your life. Try to focus tonight on all the things that you do have, instead of what you don't, especially for the singles out there. I know it's easy to get into that woe is me attitude, but I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, I get to be around a bunch of friends and my family tonight, and how cool is that? Not everybody gets that. There's people that are serving, in the military overseas, or living in places where they're not close to their family, and I get to be around my family and friends tonight and ring in the new year, even if I don't have a significant other. That's something to be really grateful for. So that's it. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all. See ya.